One of the themes I've promoted right the way through all of my work in enterprise architecture is that we should be able to apply the same principles at every scope and scale. I've often talked about RBPEA, really big picture enterprise architecture, where we take it up pretty much to the scale of a planet. But how about what it looks like when we come all the way back down again to a one-person organisation? Now, I want to be able to go around and teach, and to do that I'm going to have to do something to build a vehicle that is purpose-built for that need, that is fitted out as an office and so on. But it's still being able to live in it because I've got to be able to travel around. What we might call van life as an example. So the first stage of this is to say, look at this from the story perspective. What's the story here? Should we choose the enterprise that we want to get involved in? Well, in my case, I want to look at travel. I want to be able to do research, I want to engage with people, and I want to be able to document it with writing, with video, with voice, and any other means that are appropriate. I've also got to be able to eat, live, rest, play, and so on. So there are very tight practical constraints. I've only got an ordinary driving licence, so I can't take a vehicle larger than about 3.5 tonnes. That means that for a typical large van, I've got a maximum fit out of about 1 and a bit tonnes, which is quite a lot. It sounds like a lot until you try to fit out an entire vehicle. I've got to fit multiple uses into that space, into a very small space. It's probably no more than about 11 to 15 feet internally and only about 5.5 feet wide in terms of the width of the vehicle. I've got to be able to write in there, I've got to be able to record video, edit video, I've got to engage people, I've got to move around from place to place, and again, I've got to be able to eat, sleep, and so on. These are all different functions that have to be fitted into that space. I've also got to fit a vast amount of stuff into that space, everything that's needed to support each type of use. And there are a lot of different uses, so I've got to make very detailed multiple function for almost all of the space. And all of it has to work together. Now when we compare that to classic enterprise architecture, which focuses pretty much only on IT, yes, IT is part of this. I'm going to need IT to deal with communications, particularly internet connections, with connecting with people, with support for all of the video and so on. But straight away, it should be obvious, I hope, that there's vastly more here than just the IT. And so the architecture of this enterprise has to cover the whole story, not merely centered around IT.